Hey everybody, I am going to go over a quick tutorial on another thumbnail creation. I've kind of been on a kick with these lately, and I know some of you may be looking to options to spice up your videos. Definitely attracting an audience is a lot easier with a nice thumbnail rather than just a random picture of your gameplay. Um, this tutorial can be used with any images, any text, for any game. We're going to use Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, specifically with this zombie picture, and make this thumbnail, and I will show you how to quickly and easily do it. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to make a new image, and I'm going to go 1280 by 720. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to go 1920 by 1080. I'm actually going to go larger than what we want it to be at the end. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to actually, the white on this, though it looks white, it is actually an off-white that is an exact match with the background on the YouTube page if you're not using the dark settings. So the thought behind this is that the thumbnail kind of blends in with the background, which makes the thumbnail itself actually stick out because it looks different than the other thumbnails that are just kind of squared off. So essentially what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up a YouTube page, print screen on my keyboard. I'm going to go back, I'm going to paste it, and just quickly enough to grab this color selector, color picker tool. I'm going to click just outside of the YouTube window. I'm going to hit Control Z twice to undo my paste, and bucket fill tool. I'm going to fill that in. You might notice it just got a hair darker, so it's like an off-white. Now what I'm going to do, grab my text, and I'm going to pick a font size of about 3, maybe 500 actually. And I downloaded and installed this Call of Duty font. It's called Call of Ops Duty. You can use whatever font you want. If you want to use this one, just do a Google search for that, install it, close out of Gimp, reopen Gimp, and it'll show up in your list. So I'm going to do that. The color I'm going to choose is black. I want it to contrast with the white. And I am just going to type in the word, go bold. I'm going to type in the word cold, enter war. And I'm going to spread out this text just a little bit. So on my tool options, I'm going to go down to my spacing between my letters, and I'm going to increase that just a hair. And I'm going to spread the spacing between the lines, which right now is at -104. It's kind of squished together. I'm going to spread it just a little bit, about like that. And the next thing that we're going to do is click my crop tool, and I'm going to crop just outside of the text. I'm going to leave a little bit of white on the edges. Probably about like that. Hit enter. I'm going to resize this image, scale image, unlock the ratio lock, and I'm going to make it 1280 by 720. Hit scale. This is going to be the final thumbnail size. If, depending on when you cropped that out, depending on what that image size was, height and width, when you resize it to 1280 by 720, if it's distorted at all, you may need to cut off a little more or a little less on the sides or the top and bottom. But this looks good for me. Next thing I'm going to do is right click on my layer, flatten image, right click on that layer and go add alpha channel, which actually makes behind this essentially transparent. I'm going to click select by color tool, and my threshold I actually want to move up quite a bit, so I'm going to change it to like 50. because these are very contrasting colors, it should still just grab basically the black. I'm going to click within the black. I'm going to hit delete. So now I have got that. The next thing I'm going to do is add a new layer. I'm going to drag that layer below the text layer. I'm going to go over to my image, Control A to select all, Control C will copy, and I'm going to paste that. Oops, wrong layer. I need to make sure I go to the blank layer and paste. And then from here, I'll grab the move tool and kind of adjust it to what I think looks good. So, we'll go there. Looks good to me. Hit the green anchor, and that seals the deal there. Next thing we're going to do is flatten that, and I'm going to add another new layer. The next layer, I'm going to do a banner. So I'm going to grab the rectangle select tool. I'm going to highlight somewhere generally towards the middle of this. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to choose black as the color I'm going to use to fill with the paint bucket. Dump that. Over here, I'm going to go drop the opacity down a pretty sizable amount. So it still looks like a banner, but you can actually see through the banner. Whoops. And I think 66.2 looks perfect. So I'm going to go with 66.2. And the next thing I'm going to do is grab another, actually I'm going to do the color picker tool. I'm going to go back to the layer that actually has the image on it. And I'm going to choose a bright green. Maybe that green looks good. That's the green that I'm going to actually use for my text. So go back to text tool, drag yourself a text box. This font size is not going to be nearly as big, so I'm going to try like 225, bold, and I'm just going to type in zombies. That actually looks too bold to me, so I'm going to undo the bold. I'm going to actually drop that down to like 200, enter. Grab my move tool, move my text within my banner, which this banner, I actually want to drag the banner below the text. I want the text above so it's nice and bright. And it looks generally centered enough for myself. Next thing I'm going to do, click back on my zombies layer. I'm going to click the color select tool, click within the zombies text, and I want to add a white outline to this text. So I'm going to flip that to where I'm back to white. Go to my paintbrush tool. The size of the outline I'm going to set to 4 pixels, so make sure it's set to pixels. Size is 4. Hardness you probably want to be 100. The rest of the stuff you can kind of ignore. And then go edit. Stroke selection. You can leave pretty much all this, should be good, and make sure the stroke width tool is set to paintbrush and hit stroke. That's going to add a white outline around my text. I'm going to go select none. I'm going to click on the layer with the image, so it kind of gets rid of that. And this is the final result. It's not exactly like my first one. This is the first one. This is the one we just did, but it's very close. If you like it like that, you can go ahead and leave it like that. You're good to go. The white will basically blend in with the background on YouTube. It really makes it kind of pop out, and I think it grabs the eye a lot more. So you could just leave it like that. You're basically just going to want to flatten that, and then go File, Export, choose where you want to save it, name it whatever you want. Save it, do the name .jpg. That will have it export it in a JPEG image format, which is what YouTube requires essentially for your thumbnails. And then you're good to go. If you wanted to do one other thing that I sometimes will do on a lot of my thumbnails, not as often with the ones that are kind of on the subdued background, but you may like the way this looks. I'll show you one more trick I do. Go back image, scale image, unlock the aspect ratio. I'm going to drop 40 pixels on the width, and I'm going to drop 40 pixels on the height, so it's 1240 by 680. I'm going to make a new image. I'm going to go, my new image is going to be 1280 by 720. And I am going to choose two colors for this. I've already got the green. The next I'm going to do is grab color picker tool, and I'm going to click a bright yellow on this image. Go back over to my new gradient tool, and I am going to drag from left to right and hit enter. And essentially this is going to put, I'll show you, we're going to Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and then go back over this image, and Control V will paste, and then you can anchor it. And if you like the looks of this better, you can export this, and there is another thumbnail. I hope this helped you out. If it did, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out my next videos. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let it run and make